Hey guys, what's going on? Figure I'd take a break from the altcoins today and have a look at Bitcoin. So ticker for this obviously is BTC and I'm currently on a weekly time frame. Now, if you want to trade this on an exchange that does not require KYC, then I put a link to a new one in the pinned comment and the description. I just got a notification saying that BingX, which is where I'm currently trading, they're going to require KYC, so that's a little bit unfortunate. So anybody who's looking for an alternative, the new upcoming one is called BloFin. And if you use that link, again, the one in the pinned comment and the description, that's going to activate a sign up bonus for you. And if you want to use Bitget or BingX, links to those in the same place. And one last thing before I get into the chart here, if you're not subscribed and you want to get notified when I release new videos, click subscribe and then you got to click the bell and then click on all. If you don't do those last two parts, you're not going to get the notification. Okay, so BTC weekly time frame. You see how I have these vertical lines on a chart here? This is the date of the halvings, right? So dating back here, we have the one in November 2012, the one in July 2016, the one in May 2020, and then the recent one here in April 2024. Now there's a very obvious pattern here. So we have the halving here back in 2012. Then we had a month or so of just consolidation, very boring time to be in the market right here, and then a huge move to the upside. Next halving, we actually dumped after it, and then we had a long, drawn out period of consolidation, similar to what we're experiencing right now, okay? So from the time of the halving, it was 13 weeks of just boring consolidation before we had this candle right here, which kind of set the bull market into motion. So 13 weeks after the halving, okay? So keep that in mind. The following halving, May 2020, we had 9 weeks from here to here. And this is the first candle where we really started to see some buyers step in. So the week started around 9,164 and then it finished over 10,000. So we gained 1,000 in this particular week, which was the start of the upward momentum. And then obviously, you know what happened? We had this huge push to the upside. Okay, so that brings us to where we are right now. I know things feel boring right now, but we're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're 9 weeks after the halving. So as I just showed you, it could be a while. But I imagine within a few months, we're going to start making our move to the upside if the pattern we're seeing from the previous cycles repeats, okay? And when you're trading, you're basically just trying to identify patterns in the market, do your analysis based off that, and then enter high probability, low risk trades. Okay, so pattern in Bitcoin is clearly established. Now let's take a look at some of the recent trading history. So I took about 6 months off. I wasn't doing any TA videos, but just to give you a recap here, we had a falling wedge correction, which we broke to the upside out of, which is what typically happens from this pattern. From the breakout of this falling wedge, we formed a rising wedge, which typically breaks to the downside. And as you can see, that's what happened here. When we fell out of this upsloping level of support here, we found an alternative support level at this horizontal support region, which was the established resistance from right here and right here. Okay, and as you know, broken resistance will oftentimes come down and act as a support. So we saw this level act as resistance twice, one here, and then likewise it served as a level of support, not once but twice, so right here and right here. And here we were hovering around it for a couple months. Okay, so this area right here, keep this in mind because it's kind of similar to what we're seeing up here. Now, the other thing I want to point out to you that I also recommend you draw on your chart because it may be relevant still is the top line from this rising wedge. You see it was resistance right here, and then right in here, it was a level that we were battling to get above, okay? And not only when we broke above it, we came back to retest it as a support level. And once this was an established resistance to support flip, that's when we got this huge push to the upside, which brought us to the all-time high. Okay, so this level is still very relevant if the price does collapse and come back down, which I don't think is going to happen. But if it does, you definitely want to have this level marked on your chart, preferably right now before you forget. And just what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag it out just for myself there so I can see it. If the price crashes, then I'm going to look to this level to be a pretty strong level of established support, okay? Now, as for where we are currently, to show you what we're doing, I'm going to change this to the daily time frame. And you'll see here we're forming a bit of a triangle formation. So we have this established downsloping level of resistance. And to replicate that, just take a trend line and just connect the highs here. And then we have an established level of support. Same thing down here, an ascending trend line. And I drew two of them, okay? One is based on the candle bodies, as you can see right here. And the other is based on the wicks, okay? So this second one down, I connected the wick. The first one, I connected the body. Now, if I'm going by the trend line here, that is connected from the candle bodies, you'll see that this is the level that we're currently trying to maintain. Earlier today, the price traded all the way down to here at around 63,667, but it doesn't matter where we traded down to for this trend line to remain intact. It matters where the candle body closes. And the close for this daily candle is going to come in about 3 hours. So pay attention to how this closes. If we can salvage this candle body closing above to maintain this level of ascending support, that's going to be a really good sign. And if that happens tomorrow, we might see more confidence in the market for a push back up to the range high, which will bring us back up to retest this downsloping level of support. Now, of course, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. Even if we're able to salvage this candle, it can just kind of hang by a thread and keep us in suspense for a while, even if it does move up. Now, if the price does move down, the obvious potential level of support to look to, if you want to risk taking a long, would be this secondary ascending trend line, again, based on the wicks. Okay, so we break this, you could perhaps look to this as an area where buyers may step in. Now, this is going to be approximately in the 61,005, 61,008 range. But the big support, the most important one in my opinion, is going to be based on a weekly time frame, and that's going to be this horizontal support level at slightly above 60,000. So that's going to be 60,144, 60,200. Now you'll see that it's possible to trade below it as we did right here, this little deviation. But this was on the daily time frame. If I switch it here to the weekly time frame, you'll see that we've never had a weekly candle body close below it. And this is the most significant chart in my opinion in all of crypto, okay, the weekly time frame. Now, as I mentioned, it's slightly above 60,000, so approximately 60,200 or so. And if I look to the left, you'll see the significance of this level here, okay? So definitely, if you want to trade Bitcoin, draw this on your chart and just take a trend line, horizontal right, horizontal trend line, whatever, and paste it right at the top of these candle bodies right here. So you see here in 2021, this level was a level that the price was battling with for quite a long time, and we eventually got rejected from it, right? So very significant level, this 60,200 region. Okay, and when we came back up, we were able to break above it, but you'll see as soon as we broke above it, this probably faked a lot of people out. We had a couple weeks here where obviously this was where the war took place, and we closed the candle body above it twice, and then a little bit more confidence came into the market, and then we had more bullish price action the following weeks, but after that, we got smashed back down. However, when this was taking place, there were some obvious signs that this wasn't going to pan out, and I'm using a different chart right now with different indicators, but if you load an RSI, down there, you're going to be able to see a very obvious bearish divergence where the price makes a higher high and the oscillator makes a lower high, right? So that was apparent for people that knew what to look for at the time, but a lot of people got faked out right here. Most of the people when this was happening were calling for at least 100K. So learning from this, maybe this time, if you get some good profits on your position, you might want to exit a little bit early, right? It's better to exit early with profit than it is to hold too long and ride it all the way back down. Okay, so hard lessons learned here for a lot of people. Okay, now the second horizontal level that I recommend that you draw while I'm over here is going to be right here based on the top of these candle bodies, okay? So you see it was resistance right here, and then here when we were below it, it was resistance once again. Now also, if we look at this level on the recent price history, as we came up to it, you see it was a bit of a fight to break this level as well. So again, as you know, former resistance will likely be support as the price comes down to it. Okay, so the key levels I'm watching right now, obviously right here, the 60,200, this in my opinion is the most important level on the chart, okay? What we don't want to see is see weekly candles start closing below this previous range right here, okay? We want to keep the uptrend intact. Then if we do start closing candle bodies below there, it becomes more likely that this is a double top. And the next stop beyond that is probably going to be all the way back down here at around 52K. All right, now if this 60,200 level can hold, maybe what we're seeing right here is just a repeat of what we're seeing down here. So at the time, this looked like a double top as well. We had high here, come down, correction, came back up, another rejection. This horizontal level held, and then we got a big spring off that area. So same thing over here. If we do break these horizontal support regions, it seems reasonable that the price would come back down here, give this 60,200 level another retest, and then spring up off of that. Very similar to what happened here. Okay, so those are the levels to watch. I'm going to take this down to the daily time frame once more. and just point this out. So the current level I'm watching right now is this upsloping level of support. I want to see the daily candle close in a few hours, and I want the candle body here to close above this ascending support level. If that does break, I would go to the smaller time frame and see how the price responds to this currently an ascending support, but once broken, it's going to flip to a level of resistance. Actually, let's take a look at that right now on the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, there you go. Look what's happening right now. We broke below it, and now this is the level that has now flipped to a resistance. So 1 hour time frame, you can see it very apparently here. This is obviously the current level of resistance right now. All right, so it's going to be a fight for the next few hours to see if this level can be reclaimed. If it can't, and we get that candle body close below here, like if the price were to close as it is right now, I would anticipate a further crash to the downside in the coming days. In which case, I would look to this secondary upsloping level of support to mark an area where buyers are going to come in. But however, the most important level of support on this chart currently, in my opinion, is going to be this 60,200 level, this horizontal level. And the most important time frame to maintain that on is going to be the weekly time frame, not the daily. Okay? Now again, if we're able to get back above this broken level of support here on the 1 hour time frame, and we're able to get a strong close on the daily, which brings in some bullish momentum to the market, then if the price shoots back up, you can maybe enter a good R&R long position back up to the top for another touch of this downsloping level of resistance, another crack to break that. All right, guys, hopefully you found that helpful. If you did, smash a like button. And don't forget, if you want to subscribe, you have to click the bell and then click on all if you want to get the notifications. And again, if you want a place to trade Bitcoin with no KYC, check out BloFin. Links are in the pinned comment and the description. And using those links is going to get you a sign-up bonus. And if you don't care about the KYC thing and you just want to use whatever, you can also check out Bitget and BingX. The links in the pinned comment and the description will also activate sign-up bonuses on those exchanges as well. All right, guys, take care. Have a good day. Bye.